And the heat is on. Semi-final time here at the Rip Curl Pro Bells Beach. Ryan Callinan into the last couple of heats of this very iconic event, up against Filipe Toledo, who's chasing his best finish here at Bells Beach in 2019. And this should be a great matchup. Ryan's been very strong on the backhand. Filipe's starting to warm up when you look at his performances as he's made his way through to this semi-final heat, Pete.
Yeah, and he's the last remaining goofy foot, so he'll have a little different look in these next two semis. See if Ryan can get himself to another final. I mean, once he won down in Portugal, he literally went ballistic after that.
And Callinan got things started here, picking this one off.
Feels like he's got a really nice read on today's conditions. You know, he's been on good waves. He looks relaxed. Doesn't look like he's forcing it too much. A little stumble there, though.
Back in 2016, he had a real rough year. In fact, only got past the third round once in the final event of the season. But you mentioned it earlier, Pete. Since he got that wild card call up after some QS success last year, he's been on fire. But here we go, Toledo. Always a standout. Started this wave off so well. Really smooth rail turns, and now starts to really let go of some power on the inside.
As you watch again here with this offshore breeze, cleaning up conditions. But that carve there, right there in the apex of the peak, that's the critical section. That's where you want to see these maneuvers done. And then a nice, beautiful carve there with not a whole lot of speed. He held that rail nicely. And then the final move, hammers it, you know. So great start here. Should go excellent for Filipe. I mean, just look at his timing. And then where he hits the maneuver here. That's right there in the apex. And a lot of times you look at that section and you go, okay, what kind of maneuver you would do? But he had a full arc in the lip.
Right behind him, Callinan gets an opportunity. So a better exchange here. And Ryan did so well to get his board up onto that section. Just couldn't bring it down, unfortunately.
Really beautiful surfing there from Toledo. Beautiful first turn from Ryan on this one. But then gets a little caught up. He almost got himself up there. Looked like he could have pulled it down, but with the explosion, board ripped out from under his feet. So this one will probably not fit into his top two at the end of the heat, but that's the backhand that we've seen Ryan get himself into the semifinals. So powerful. Yesterday posting one of the bigger numbers of the day. It's just unfortunate that this section came down so quick. He wasn't able, well, he was able to get up above it.
We got the wind is coming up a little more out of the southwest now, so it's going to be coming across, drawing up the side of the wave and really kind of putting some lumps across the face as well. So we'll see how they react to that, as this looks like our count.
Well, Toledo had a 6.83, Ryan a 3.5 on that last exchange. The Australian up at the moment hails from Merewether, Newcastle. So many amazing surfers from that region, including a couple of former Bells champions in Nicky Wood and Matt Hoy. Ryan, he wants to add his name to that list. Mark Richards, of course, also hailing from Newcastle. They've produced plenty of Bells champions, and you could put it down to the fact that they've got a great training ground back home.
Merewether.
Feels like there's been a little more restraint. The judges asking more of the competitors. 3.6 for Ryan Callinan here.
Yeah. You know, the outside section somewhat let him down. It didn't have that nice steep wall that he's been able to find in the earlier rounds. And then the wave did not have that inside section as well. So this one just 3.5.
Finals day unfold in pumping conditions on the Bells Bowl. But Ricardo's whistle can be heard above all others. That's Filipe's dad, a former competitor himself. And they've almost developed a language with those whistles. Filipe can hear them from way out the back here.
It's incredible to see, and such a great story.
Yeah, 2015, we'll get back to that in a moment. We see Toledo up again, now trying to add to his heat score total. Holding on to a throwaway score at the moment, a 0.5. He's already replaced that. But he wants a lot more points out of this wave. Doesn't really cooperate with him.
When you get that lower tide, and some of those waves are going to move off the reef because they break outside further, so they pull off the reef.
Ricky Wood 16 when he won, and Richard Doc Marsh just 17.
Crazy stuff. So great memories as we watch the replay here of this last wave. You can see the angle of the wave also kind of pushing off the reef. So never really had that steep section. Good read by Filipe for a kick out, keep himself out there. And he'll get an opportunity for another good wave.
Well, the men's Rip Curl Pro, Filipe Toledo, holds an edge over Ryan Callinan at this stage, but a pretty close heat with no big numbers dropped just yet. Set waves approaching. And Ryan Callinan with priority is going to eye off this first one. Drops to the bottom. Goes looking for something big on the outside here. Beautiful big carve. Set up turn, has the speed to hammer around this big whitewater section. Now we'll climb back up into the lip. A well-placed turn there, so making the most of what was on offer on the outside. And again, gets on the attack, a whatever turn. 3 manoeuvres, a good-sized set wave, should be a solid score. 17.5 minutes to go.
Would have been anticipating that set coming and deciding on which wave to take, and finally committed to it. He just dropped in, drew a beautiful line up into the bowl. What a wave. Those things are just standing up all the way across down to Winky, and he loved it. You could see it in his face as he took off.
Yeah, we've seen Peter a few times during the event. Surfers with priority get worried about the waves that are behind the set that is coming your way.
Be a bit patient, find that set wave. Let's see the answer here from Filipe.
Filipe already hanging on to a 6.83, just trying to get rid of a 2.07, and what a beautiful start to that ride. Unfortunately, that one's shutting down. So still plenty of size in those set waves. The Southern Ocean coming to life during the back end of the event window here in 2019.
So cool to see. I mean, we had this storm show up.
Had great success on the qualifying series, and it seems that he is ready now to do some of his best surfing on the championship tour. Toledo having a look at this one. And just pacing himself. Rolls over a bit of a double up here. This wave's starting to stand up. Toledo fading back before driving up into the pocket. Nice swoop off the top. Again goes to the rail. Beautiful roundhouse cutback. Something a little different. Just trying to hang on to the finish. Can't quite stick it. When I'm going to use priority in the first wave. And it was a little flat. Ryan's wave hugged that reef a lot better.
Yeah, it had a better line to it. But see, this is the double up. This is where this wave starts to steepen. The energy gets put back onto the reef and the shallow part of it. It stands up for him nicely just for that moment and then here. But this was that different line that we've seen on this inside section. And just gets a little stuck and goes down. Take a look at this full wave here. So yeah, a little foam on the face. But he saw and identified that it was going to move outside of that whitewater line. So he stayed with it. And see, this is where it cleans up.
Whoa, look at this wave.
Yeah, and this is the section here. Digs in. I mean, that was it. He pulls this down. He's got himself 2 solid waves. He has more to give, so let's hope it happens in that semi against John.
Well, Callinan up at the moment. He's trying to get rid of a 3.6 here. Missed an opportunity on his last ride. Banked a 3.53. It didn't go into his top 2. This wall's standing up nicely. Really clean conditions here for finals day. And a big crowd on hand to watch it all go down. Probably lending the majority of their support to this man as the only Australian left in the draw. But I think it's fair to say that everyone down here is just a big fan of watching quality surfing, and there's been no shortage of it in big conditions here at Bells this year.
No, it's really cool because you do see it doesn't matter the nation, the flag that's on their sleeve. They appreciate good surfing, and as soon as there's anything exciting happening on that inside shore break or even in the outside section, the crowd lets you hear it. So this one, not one of the bigger set waves and not with priority, so he picks this one of those first waves, you know, and these waves can sometimes give you a ton of scoring opportunity by standing up because they are a little further inside, so they'll hit the reef. This one never really had the steep sections, but when they did kind of provide themselves, he was able to get there. But in comparison, we really saw the 6.83 set the scale. You know, I felt like it was a little bit low, but looking at what Ryan Callinan was able to do on his best wave with the 7.67, I feel like the comparisons are right there. Found a way to have that balance where he's able to do enough for his sponsorship, but you know, stay enough away that he can handle it.
He's coming up in semi-final 2 up against Geordie Smith. Right now, though, Filipe Toledo is trying to turn this semi-final in his favour. He needs a 6.02, really deep, driving around the section. has to dig in here. Nice swoop off the top, but really just a set-up turn. And now the wave's starting to steepen. And Toledo, he's going to hammer that pocket. Tees off once, back to the rail. Not one of the biggest set waves that we've seen in this heat, but he's surfing it pretty well at the moment. Beautiful floating re-entry there. Up into the hook and hammers the lip. 35 seconds on the clock. Toledo finishing strong. And he just loses his back foot. As he goes to crack that final section, but he did do a lot of work there. Set wave on the outside. Ryan Callinan having the duck dive. Will he get another opportunity? This one might be on his head as well.
Well, here we go. The outside section, he had to race, so he never got a maneuver done until it gets into that deeper water. And so the wave flattens out slightly. You know, it's great rhythm, great flow. Everything about it's nice. Nothing real critical, though. That was straight up, but not a critical section. Didn't have a ton of energy. And at this point, I'm going, I don't know. But then it steepens up, and these two maneuvers back to back here were nice. Bam! Spray flying everywhere. But the fall is always, at this point, he pulls that maneuver. I feel like, yep, I think get job done. But now it's a little bit of a question mark to me.
Keep in mind that it isn't the quantity of maneuvers, it's the quality of those turns. And flowed beautifully through the entire ride, but there's nothing major on that outside section, is there?
There really isn't, you know, and because he had to miss it, he had to chase it down.
I guess the comparison will be Ryan Callinan's 5.17 peak.
There it is, scores in.
Looking pretty solid. A lot of reward, I think, for that big combination on the inside, and they were making the comparison to Ryan's 5.17. Get himself into the final here at the Rip Curl Pro Bells Beach for the first time, 6.57. And Ryan Callinan finishes up with a third place finish. He'll be making a big jump up the leaderboard.
Stealing nerve for Filipe. That was huge. He just gets the news.
Well, Filipe Toledo moving on through to the final. We'll see who he'll meet.